Hello, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic / Non-Classic. This is episode number 287 and Doubleshot number 218, correct? Yeah, just making sure. Alright, I got two more Deadpool classic books for this episode. I have volumes 14 and 15. First up is volume 14, Suicide Kings, which this trade not only collects the 5% of the series, Suicide Kings also collects Deadpool, Games of Death, Deadpool 900 and 1000, X-Men Origins Deadpool, and Marvel Digital Holiday Special number 2, and material from Marvel Spotlight Deadpool. Now, who does these books? Well, Mike Benson does Games of Death and Suicide Kings. I'm trying to see if he doesn't. Oh yeah, he does like one story in Deadpool 900, and yeah, that's it. What he does for that. Fred Van Lin does the Digital Holiday Special story, along with at least one story in issue 900, and one story in issue 1000. 900 also has stories from Jason Aaron, Dwayne Straczynski, Victor Gushler, Charlie Hudson, Joe Kelly. That's from 900. For 1000, Adam Glass, Peter Biggie, Colin Bunn, David Lapham, Howard Chaykin, who also has the artwork for his story, Michael Kupperman, Rick Remender, Tim Hamilton, Dean Haspel, and Rob Williams. Now, the thing about the Suicide King series is just that it's a team up, it's a crossover between Deadpool and the Punisher. Yeah. And also, the main villain of that miniseries is Tombstone. And he has some very bizarre hobbies, including how he kills people by playing golf with their heads. Having the golf balls being their heads, and he basically just swings like crazy. Like, yeah, you see him playing golf, and it turns out the golf balls he's using are people's heads. As for these characters doesn't really matter. They're just unknown characters, but at least they didn't show the golf clubs hitting these people's heads. But yeah, Tombstone is one sick individual. That is how Mike Benson writes him. Adam Glass also co-wrote this mini-series. He does it with issues 2, 3, and 5. Now you also have appearances by Daredevil, Spider-Man in this mini-series. It's a pretty fun little mini-series, but it's kind of dark, and I don't recommend it for reading for children. For teen and up, definitely. Games of Death, it's just a simple one-shot, where he just, well, solves something for this old guy who's dying, stuff like that. 900 and 1000 are just these big joke of a number of issues where it's just a series of stories. That's all it is. They're both anthology books. Really fun stories, really weird ones. And the Marvel Spotlight stuff, that is just, well, it's just a recap of Deadpool's history. That's all Marvel Spotlight 46 is. It's just a recap of his time. Yeah. The Digital Holiday Special, just some fun Deadpool stuff. This is still okay. Overall, the Suicide Squad miniseries is actually pretty good, but the rest of it is just pretty decent for what it is. So I give this a 8.75 out of 10. Alright, next up is Volume 15, All the Rest. This one has Captain America, Who Won't Wield the Shield, number 1. Cable, Volume 2, number 25. Deadpool and Cable, 26. Amazing Spider-Man Annual 38, Deadpool Annual, Volume 2, number 1. Incredible Hulk, number 1. Wolverine / Deadpool Decoy, Fear Itself, Deadpool 1-3, and Deadpool Core, Rank and Foul. Now, who writes these books? Okay, the that itch really bothered me. The Who Want to Show is a series of 4 stories where okay, these things. There are 3 stories, one written by Jason Aaron, another one by Matt Fraction, and the other by Stuart Moore. Stuart Moore, he also writes the Deadpool. He also writes the Deadpool Wolverine slash Deadpool Decoy one shot. Dwayne Zelinsky writes Cable 25 and Deadpool Cable 26. Christopher Hastings does the Fearless of Deadpool miniseries. The Annuals, which is from the Identity Wars little thing, is written by let's see, who writes these things? Doesn't say. Just says penciler. Doesn't say who wrote them. Yeah. Let's see if I can find out who wrote these annuals. That's Cable and Deadpool 25. Let's see here. Hang on. Okay, it's John Layman. Yeah, John Layman writes this 3-part crossover. Yeah, it's kind of like an early concept of Spider-Verse in a way, where it's like a version of Spider-Man, stuff like that. There's also the version of Deadpool in this crossover, and Hulk is involved with this crossover, which is quite bizarre to say the least. It's pretty decent for what it is. The Fear Itself Deadpool miniseries. Wow. Is this bizarre? The main villain is a D-list villain called the Walrus. I am not kidding about that. There's a villain called the Walrus. Fear Itself is generally considered by a lot of people nowadays to be one of Marvel is considered to be Marvel's worst crossover they've ever done, because it doesn't have much of an affection in the entire Marvel universe, and almost a lot of the stuff that happened during the crossover has since been undone. That's one of the reasons why, and the fact people who died during the crossover have since come back pretty much almost immediately after the crossover was over with. The whole point of the Fear Itself Deadpool miniseries is that Walrus thinks he's one of the worthy, even though his hammer is completely bogus. It's a really awful miniseries. Some people tend to think that Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe is the worst one. No, Fear Itself Deadpool is awful. The only good about the miniseries is the artwork. I mean, wow. I mean, yeah, it's called like All the Rest. I don't know if there are going to be any more of these, but this is as far as they got with them. But, oh yeah, and the rank and file thing, it's just a profile book. That's all it is. It's just a profile book. Pretty much like all the characters who appear in Deadpool over the years. That's really all it is. I mean, the whole one with the shield thing, that is a really good one-shot. The Cable 25 and Deadpool and Cable 26, those are pretty good. The Decoy one-shot, that was pretty good. Rank and file, like I said, it's a profile book. I mean, the only thing that was really bad in here was the Fear Itself Deadpool miniseries, because even after rereading again, because I've read it before, I realized though, yeah, this miniseries is awful. I mean, really bad. And for a canon in-universe miniseries, out of all the Deadpool miniseries that he's had all miniseries Deadpool has had over the years, this one's considered worst than Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. This is the only one that's considered to be so bad. I mean, the artwork in here in that miniseries is done by Bondazzo. I'm not kidding, that's the guy's name. I like the guy's artwork. The artwork is great. It's just that the story is just so awful, to say the least. Despite that, a lot of the other stuff in here is still really good. And I give this book a 8.5 out of 10. It's still pretty decent for what it is. Alright, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which should be episode 188 and Doubleshot 219. Okay? Until then, see you there. Bye.